So I'll do a little update. Sunglasses are on because it's quite bright up here. Found a gorgeous little cafe, really, really pretty. At the moment the electricity is down there, so I can't order anything. But I'll give you a little brief view. I really like finding places on Google that are kind of slightly hidden away and comfortable. So here's this beautiful little restaurant up here. I mean, I think we all have, it's a bit of a bold statement, but I think we all like a roof garden. Who wouldn't, right? So I arrived relatively, actually no I didn't, I arrived in the afternoon yesterday. I'll give you a quick down low on the process. It's $50 visa on arrival for up to 30 days for certain countries. I think quite a lot of countries, obviously the UK is included in that. If you're transiting, strangely you have to pay $20 if you're transiting. I assume that's not a direct transit, but maybe if you've booked two different flights and you want to stay within the country for a certain period of time, that would make more sense. I don't think you would be charged if you're on a direct transit. That'd be odd. The process was relatively simple, not because the facilities were there to make it such. There just really wasn't a massive influx of tourists. There was surprisingly a lot of either Russians or Ukrainians. I couldn't differentiate. By a lot I mean, you know, relative to the amount of people that there were, which was somewhat minimal. I'd say maybe 30 tourists mingling around the VOA desk, and I would say maybe 8 or 9 were Russian speaking, and all of the others, bar one chap who was English, were Japanese or Chinese. So the process was somewhat straightforward, but I did make sure I had all my documents printed, and that was with regards to you have to have a document showing your outbound flight and the bookings for the entire duration of your stay, which is pretty easy to do. You just go on booking.com, free cancellation, that kind of stuff. So waited around for around 25 minutes, I think it was. I was almost first in the queue. He said, "Oh, have you filled out the arrival card?" There was literally nowhere to even see an arrival card when I disembarked. So that meant that I had to get back in the queue after I filled it out, which is a bit irritating because he could have waited like 10 seconds to fill out that thing. What do I notice? The police are wearing very smart uniforms. I think these are things that stand out. The airport was very well maintained. Again, I'd imagine Dhaka airport to be bustling. You know, it's a country of over 200 million people. I'd assume that the international airport in the capital would be something like you'd see in, say, the old Istanbul airport or an Indian airport, but no, not at all. It was really quiet. Maybe because obviously most people were in the domestic terminal perhaps as opposed to the international terminal. Very clean, everyone was so polite, and everything just went really smoothly. There was a tourist desk with a competent chap, all the leaflets and pamphlets that you possibly want. The only strange thing is that there's only one ATM, which is I think Elixir Bank. And I'm getting quite fascinated with banking, like legitimately. I would even consider going into it as a potential career prospect. Just purely based on a little bit of a passion I have for it. And one thing I like, which has become a trend over the years, is ATM fees. Seeing which banks, especially fintechs like Monzo, Starling, Revolut, what fees they have in certain countries, and obviously the fee difference between a MasterCard and a Visa. And yeah, I just went to Standard Chartered Bank. So fast forward, I ended up getting out the airport. I did get scammed twice. By scammed I mean I ordered 2 Ubers on my card because there were no ATMs bar the one, and I knew that ATM would have a crazy charge. So you had loads of banks, loads of money exchanges, all very neat. Again, it's a relatively quiet airport, everything was super clean, but it must have been 3 dozen money exchanges, but one ATM. And so I had to order an Uber with my card, and they have Uber here, thankfully. They also have nDrive, they have Food Panda, they have, they used to have Uber Eats until 2020, I believe. But, there's sufficient apps that if you're in a problem scenario like that and you just want to kind of get to your hotel, you can just use your card. So loads of drivers basically took the cash and then started the ride when they were nowhere near the city, and then never showed up, obviously. You saw tourist name, he's paid on card. I think Uber has a situation where drivers know they can get away with it, especially if they have thousands of rides under their belt. From time to time they can skim off the top, and they bank on the fact that hopefully, because it's such a small amount, tourist isn't going to raise a claim, which I did immediately, and I've been refunded already for both. but the ride from the airport from Uber started at 350 or 60, which is £2.20 from the airport, to somewhere relatively close. I was 11 kilometres away here in Atara. In the end, because I guess the drivers just didn't want to enter the airport, maybe because there's a cabal scenario where Ubers are kind of questioned. It seemed to be pretty busy when you got outside, and usually you have the taxi ranks control the airports. I've seen that in a lot of countries, but Uber won't, or driving apps won't even operate within the confines of the airport. So I ordered a bike in the end. So this guy shows up, the bike cost me 106, which is like 70p. And yeah, made it just about. Nearly died a few times, just like Nepal and Pakistan, but made it to the hotel late. And then wanted to use Food Panda because they accept UK numbers, but the text wouldn't come through, so I couldn't order food, even though it's super cheap. And there's so much variety, and it's all delicious food as you'd expect. Indian food, Chinese food, all kinds. We're in an area of the world where there's always good food. So yeah, went to sleep. I booked a really good budget hotel. I was so impressed. I was really worried because the standards are always lower, pertaining to cleanliness and stuff in Pakistan and here. And generally hotels have really low reviews. You'll see hotels with thousands of reviews, but like 4.5 out of 10 is generally the average. So mine was a 7.2, which is super high for where we are. And I was expecting it to be rubbish, and it's not. I paid £50 flat with 4 Wizz Air Euro cashback credits on that, and free breakfast included, which was nice enough. And that's really good value. It's a really nice ensuite room. It's got hot water, Wi-Fi, everything, fridge, TV, everything you'd expect. So really happy about that. In fact, I'm probably going to book an extra week there. I've got one down there, an extra week on the cards, and then I got 10 days booked in the jungle. So yeah, I got Domino's in the end. I know it's really shocking, but I knew it would be the only place to accept cards, and they didn't require an OTP, so I just made up a Bangladeshi number, ordered it through the Bangladesh app, went to collect it. Luckily it's 4 minutes walk, and it was still really good value. I bought so much food I could barely finish it. I bought 5 like rice and meat dishes, 5 I know, because I thought they'd be really small in the picture, because it's also a fast food chain, so usually they skim off the top, but they weren't small. And I got a pizza on top of that, and I got 2 of these creamy cheese meatball things. So a ridiculous amount of food, but I was starving. I hadn't eaten. The night before I'd been out on the piss in Kathmandu, as you do on your last day. It was a Saturday. So I was hungover, didn't eat. And all of that came to £6.80, which isn't bad for a Domino's. In a foreign country, it's usually pretty high-end stuff when you're abroad. Not necessarily in places like the UK, although it's still expensive, but it's seen as like an affluent thing to do. So I won't be doing that again. But yeah, so went out this morning, checked the banks. So I read online that the bank, Ceylon Bank, would have no fees. Couldn't check that because I transferred my money to Chase, because Revolut has weekend fees, and I think that's just terrible. That'd be disgusting, even for paid members. It's an absolute scam. Chase Bank, I think, is absolutely the best bank in the UK. I'm transferring everything over to Chase. So I went, unfortunately though it's a MasterCard, that's the one issue. And there is an annoying thing where they don't have your card details on the card itself. It's the only card I've ever owned where there's no details. So yeah, I went to the bank. Oh, perfect. Thank you very much. Lovely. Excellent. Perfect. Thank you. Cheers. And so I went to the Ceylon Bank, but the Ceylon Bank was Visa only. So I just thought I'd have a wander around, try some more banks until I found one that's MasterCard. Then I saw Standard Chartered as nearby, which I know 100% is going to work. It's super reliable. However, in Pakistan there were some fees. In fact, I think it's the only bank in Pakistan that accepted my Revolut card at the time. Fees were about £6. Here, oh my god, it is officially, after over a decade of travelling, the most expensive ATM fee I've ever seen in my life, and of course I didn't use it. The former champion is Santander in Chile, which tried to charge, I think, 13 USD for just to withdraw cash. That was the fee. Here, just skimmed over that. Came in at about 14 or a late 13, but it's slightly over the Santander in Chile. It was 1,000, which is like £8. about £8, so maybe slightly around the same as Chile, let's say, but crazy. So I went across to, I think, what is the biggest bank, which is Citibank in Bangladesh. Used my Chase card. This is where it's a bit weird. There were no fees, I'm so happy, not a single penny, and I took exactly 15,000 out, and exactly 15,000 is exactly £100. I'm not talking about 100.0102, a few pennies over. 100 dead flat is 15,000. That's the rate they gave me. The official rate, according to XE, I should have got one about 15,130 or something, which is an extra, just under an extra £1, but whatever. So I'm happy with that. No fees. So I'll be posting that on the blogs. That's always something people want to know. I need to find another website. I'm starting to post stuff in Caravanistan now, which is primarily the Silk Road countries, Central Asia. But yeah, it's nice to give people info and stuff. It's one thing that I look for when I go to a country. You know, you don't want to be spending like all this money on ATM fees. It really adds up. So yeah, that's the gist thus far. Looked at some of the sites online for Dhaka. So loads to do, so I'm happy with the 2 weeks. Going for the Russian visa as well here. It happens that their embassy is ranked really well on Google. It's got like 300 reviews and 5 stars. So yeah, that's the first 24 hours, I guess. And I think I'm really going to like Bangladesh. I don't think 30 days is enough, but I've already booked up other countries, so I will be leaving soonish. But there's going to be loads of videos and stuff. So yeah, I'll leave it there, and time for coffee.